Listen up, girl. You inner-city nurses need to know your place. Fetch coffee, empty bedpans, and keep your mouth shut. Dr. Ethan Blackwell's hand flew across Lena Ramirez's face with brutal force. Her head snapped sideways. The packed emergency room at Unity Medical Center fell into stunned silence. Before Lena could recover, his expensive Italian shoe connected with her supply cart, sending it careening across the linoleum floor. Medical equipment exploded everywhere. Syringes, bandages, medication scattering like debris from a car crash. The 26-year-old Latina nurse stood frozen, a vivid red handprint blooming across her olive cheek. 50 witnesses stared in horror. Phones emerged from pockets, fingers hitting record. Lena's eyes remained locked on Dr. Blackwell, unnaturally calm despite the humiliation. She reached into her scrub pocket, fingers closing around something small and metallic. Around them, chaos erupted. Patients gasped. The staff whispered frantically, but Lena just smiled, a quiet, knowing smile. Have you ever witnessed someone make the biggest mistake of their career? The slap had started with something so simple, Lena suggesting a different treatment protocol. Dr. Blackwell, the patient's symptoms suggest acute pancreatitis. Perhaps we should consider, did I ask for your opinion? Dr. Blackwell had snapped, not even looking up from his clipboard. You're a nurse. Stay in your lane. Lena kept her voice professional, steady. Patient safety requires input from the entire medical team. The labs show, listen up, girl. You inner-city nurses need to know your place. Fetch coffee, empty bedpans, and keep your mouth shut. That's when his hand moved fast, vicious. The crack echoing through the emergency department like a whip. Now, 30 seconds later, the aftermath was already spiraling beyond control. Digital clock on the wall. 9:23 p.m. Lena's phone buzzed insistently in her pocket. 4 missed calls from director's office. The emergency board meeting started in 13 minutes. Nursing student Sophia Lopez had her iPhone out, live streaming to Instagram. Oh my God, y'all. Did everyone just see that? This doctor just straight up slapped a nurse. This is Unity Medical Center, and I am shook. Chucker Unity Medical Abuse? Nurse abuse. This is not okay. The viewer count was climbing. 847, 123, 1891. An elderly patient's son had his Samsung Galaxy pointed directly at Dr. Blackwell. This is going straight to Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. That's assault, man. Straight up assault. Lena's cheek throbbed, but she stood perfectly still. Her modest navy scrubs concealed several interesting details. A vintage Cartier watch that had belonged to her grandmother, an heirloom worth more than most cars. The first-class United Airlines boarding pass in her pocket, New York to Seattle, dated 3 days ago, and tucked discreetly behind her hospital badge, a small Yale School of Nursing alumni sticker, Class President 2025. Her employee badge, now slightly askew from the impact, showed something most people never bothered to read. A small 5-year service pin, despite her young appearance. Lena, honey, just apologize, whispered charge nurse Maria Gonzalez, tugging at Lena's sleeve. He can make your life a living hell. Trust me, I've seen it happen. Dr. Emily Foster, an attending physician, stepped closer, but kept her voice low. Blackwell is connected to administration. Don't fight this. It's not worth your career. But other voices were rising. That nurse was just trying to help, called out Mrs. Hernandez, a patient waiting for discharge. She didn't do anything wrong. Nursing student Sophia was still live streaming, her voice getting more animated. Y'all, this nurse Lena is literally the best nurse in this whole ER. She saved my patient yesterday when the doctors missed a drug interaction, and this is how they treat her. The viewer count hit 3,200. Security guard Tyrone Jenkins approached, his hand resting uncertainly on his radio. Dr. Blackwell, is everything okay over here? Need me to handle anything? Dr. Blackwell straightened his expensive tie, his voice carrying that familiar tone of authority. Just a minor disagreement about protocols, Tyrone. Nurse Ramirez here forgot her place in the medical hierarchy. I haven't forgotten anything, Lena said quietly. Her voice was calm, but something in her tone made several people look twice. Dr. Blackwell's pager started beeping urgently. He glanced at it, then at the growing crowd of onlookers. Phones were everywhere now, recording, live streaming, uploading. 9:28 p.m., 8 minutes until the board meeting. Look, Dr. Blackwell said, raising his voice so everyone could hear. Nurses who don't respect physician authority endanger patients. It's that simple. There's a reason we have hierarchy in medicine. Dr. Harrison, another attending, nodded vigorously. Exactly right, Ethan. Can't have staff questioning medical decisions. Set a dangerous precedent. Young resident Dr. Lee shifted uncomfortably, but said nothing. The medical students behind Dr. Blackwell exchanged nervous glances. Lena's phone buzzed again. This time she glanced at the screen. Emergency board meeting. Where are you, Lena Ramirez? She typed back quickly. Slight delay, we'll explain shortly. The response came immediately. Are you hurt? Security just reported an incident in the ER. Lena didn't reply. Instead, she looked around the emergency department at the patients recording everything. At the staff members choosing sides, at Dr. Blackwell, who stood there smugly, completely unaware of what was about to unfold. Lena, Charge Nurse Gonzalez tried again. Please, just apologize and let's move on. The shift ends in 2 hours. Actually, Lena said, her voice still unnaturally calm, I think we need to let this play out. Dr. Blackwell laughed harshly. Let what play out? You assaulted a physician. I never touched you. Lena interrupted. You challenged my medical authority in front of patients. That's professional assault. The livestream viewer count hit 4x100. Comments were flooding in faster than Sophia could read them. Call the police. Sue that doctor. This is 2026, not 1954. Where's hospital security? Someone tagged the news stations. 9:31 p.m., 5 minutes remaining. Lena reached into her scrub pocket, her fingers closing around the small metallic object, her employee key card. But she didn't pull it out yet. Dr. Blackwell, she said quietly, I think you should know something. The only thing I need to know, he snapped, is that you're about to be looking for a new job. I'm calling the administration right now. He pulled out his phone, started dialing. Lena watched him, that same knowing smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Around them, the emergency department had become a stage with 50-plus audience members holding cameras, waiting to see what happened next. Her phone buzzed one more time. Lena, the board is asking for you specifically. We're starting without you if necessary, R. Ramirez. This time, Lena smiled openly. 9:34 p.m., 2 minutes until everything changed. Dr. Blackwell, she said, her voice carrying just far enough for the cameras to catch it. Before you make that call, you might want to ask yourself one question. He paused, finger hovering over his phone screen. What question? He demanded. Lena's smile widened just slightly. Are you absolutely sure you know who you just slapped? Dr. Blackwell froze, his finger still hovering over his phone screen. Something in Lena's tone made the hair on his neck stand up. What's that supposed to mean? He demanded, but his voice had lost some of its earlier confidence. Lena didn't answer. She simply pulled out her own phone and scrolled through her contacts, her movements deliberate and unhurried. 9:35 p.m. 1 minute until the board meeting hospital administrator Victoria Hayes came rushing through the automatic doors, her heels clicking rapidly on the linoleum. She'd obviously received multiple calls. Her face was flushed, her usually perfect hair slightly disheveled. What in God's name is happening down here? Hayes demanded, surveying the chaos. Medical equipment still littered the floor. Phones were pointed in every direction. The livestream viewer count had climbed to 5,600. "Victoria, thank goodness," Dr. Blackwell said, relief flooding his voice. "This nurse physically assaulted me and is now making veiled threats. I need her removed immediately and charged with assault." Hayes looked between Dr. Blackwell and Lena, her eyes lingering on the vivid handprint still visible on Lena's cheek. "Dr. Blackwell, did you strike this employee?" "I defended myself against an aggressive subordinate who was undermining medical authority in front of patients. She got physical first." "That's a lie," shouted Mrs. Hernandez from her wheelchair. "That doctor slapped her for no reason. 40 people got it on video. He called her inner city and told her to know her place," added the patient's son, still recording. "This is straight-up racism and assault." Hayes's face went pale. She pulled out her tablet, fingers flying across the screen. "Security Chief Mendoza, please respond to the ER immediately. We have a code gray situation." Dr. Blackwell straightened his tie smugly. Finally, some proper authority. Within 30 seconds, Security Chief Carlos Mendoza came jogging down the hallway, followed by 2 additional guards. But instead of the relief Dr. Blackwell expected, Mendoza looked genuinely worried. "Miss Hayes," Mendoza said quietly, "I need to speak with you privately. We've got a major problem." "Handle the violent nurse first," Dr. Blackwell insisted. "She's clearly unstable and making threats." Mendoza glanced at Lena, then back at Hayes. His face was pale. "Ma'am, that's exactly what I need to discuss with you urgently." 9:36 p.m. Board meeting officially begins. Lena's phone rang. The ringtone was simple, but the name on the screen made Administrator Hayes's tablet nearly slip from her hands. "Dad, emergency," Dr. Blackwell scoffed. "Oh, calling Daddy. How pathetic. Security, please remove this disruptive individual." Lena answered calmly. "Hi, Daddy." "Yes, I'm still in the ER. There's been an interesting workplace incident." Dr. Blackwell's confident smirk began to fade. "Daddy," he repeated, his voice suddenly uncertain. The emergency department had gone quiet except for the soft dings of social media notifications. Sophia's livestream viewer count hit 6,800. Comments flooding in faster than she could read them. "No, I'm not seriously injured," Lena continued into the phone. "But we definitely need to discuss hospital policies regarding workplace violence and racial harassment." Hayes's tablet chimed with an urgent message. She glanced down, and the color drained completely from her face. She looked up at Lena, then at her tablet screen, then back at Lena. "Oh no," she whispered. "Oh no, no, no." Security Chief Mendoza stepped closer to Hayes. "That's exactly what I was trying to tell you. The employee in question is what?" Dr. Blackwell demanded, his voice rising to near hysteria. "Would someone please explain what's happening? I'm the victim here." Charge Nurse Maria Gonzalez suddenly gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "Lena Ramirez. Wait, your last name is Ramirez?" As in, the pieces were falling into place for the nursing staff, but Dr. Blackwell was still oblivious. "So, what if her last name is Ramirez? There are thousands of Ramirezes. Are you all insane?" Dr. Emily Foster grabbed Dr. Blackwell's arm urgently. "Ethan, stop talking right now. Just please stop talking." But Dr. Blackwell shook her off violently. "No, I want this woman arrested for assault, making threats against a physician and disrupting hospital operations." Young resident Dr. Lee whispered frantically, "Dr. Blackwell, maybe we should what? Let nurses run the hospital? Let them attack doctors with impunity?" The medical students behind Dr. Blackwell were frantically trying to delete their videos. But it was too late. The footage was already spreading across social media platforms. Lena ended her phone call and looked directly at Administrator Hayes. "Miss Hayes, I believe you just received a message about the emergency board meeting." Hayes nodded mutely, holding up her tablet. The message was visible to everyone nearby. "From Director R. Ramirez, Please confirm my daughter Lena is safe. Multiple incident reports suggest workplace violence in ER involving family members. Your daughter? Hayes whispered, her voice barely audible. Dr. Blackwell snatched the tablet from Hayes's hands, reading the message. His face cycled through confusion, disbelief, and growing horror. This is impossible, he stammered. This has to be some kind of sick joke. Ramirez's daughter is a doctor in Seattle. She doesn't work here. She's not a nurse. Actually, said Dr. Harrison nervously, I think I remember hearing something about Ramirez's daughter working her way through graduate school. Shut up, Harrison, Dr. Blackwell screamed. You're all losing your minds. Lena pulled her employee badge from her scrubs and held it up. The plastic was slightly cracked from when she'd hit the ground, but the text was clearly readable. Lena Ramirez Garcia, RN MSN, Employee Thashuran Sarasano 1, Director's Family. Employee number 1, Dr. Lee whispered. That's only assigned to immediate family members of senior administration. I was in Seattle, Lena said calmly. Finished my master's in nursing administration at Yale last month. Been working here 5 years while completing my degree nights and weekends. Dr. Blackwell was staring at the badge like it might transform into something else. But you're just a nurse. You can't be, this has to be fake. Someone's playing a prank. Dr. Blackwell, said Security Chief Mendoza finally. I've been trying to tell everyone Miss Ramirez Garcia is listed in our system as a VIP-protected family member. Any incidents involving her trigger automatic director notification and emergency protocols. The livestream comments were exploding. Plot twist of the century. That doctor is so dead. The director's daughter has been working as a nurse. Respect. Someone call the news stations. This is better than Netflix. 9:39 p.m. Board meeting already underway. Lena's phone buzzed with a text. Conference room A now. Board Chairman Grant wants a full incident report. Bring witnesses. Doctor. Blackwell was beginning to hyperventilate. This can't be happening. Roberto Ramirez's daughter wouldn't work as a regular nurse. It doesn't make financial sense. Why doesn't it make sense? Lena asked, her voice still unnaturally calm. Because nursing is beneath a director's daughter. Because Latina women can't have educated families. The questions hung in the air like accusations. Young nursing student Sophia was still live streaming, her voice breathless with excitement. Y'all, this is absolutely unreal. Lena is literally the hospital director's daughter, and she's been working as a regular floor nurse for 5 years. This racist doctor just slapped the boss's daughter thinking she was just some inner-city nurse. Karma viewer count 8,400 and climbing rapidly. Administrator Hayes was frantically making calls. Legal department emergency consultation needed. Yes, immediately. We have a situation involving the director's family. 9:41 p.m. 5 minutes late to the board meeting. Lena's phone rang again. This time she put it on speaker, and a deep, authoritative voice that everyone in administration recognized immediately filled the emergency room. Lena Isabella Ramirez Garcia, conference room A now, and bring whoever witnessed this incident. Yes, sir, Lena replied. I'll be there in 2 minutes. She hung up and looked around the emergency department. 50 pairs of eyes stared back at her. Phones were still recording. Dr. Blackwell looked like he might vomit. Dr. Blackwell, Lena said quietly, I think you should probably call your lawyer. Then she turned to Sophia, who was still live streaming. Would you mind coming upstairs with me? The board will want to hear from witnesses. As Lena walked calmly toward the elevators, her footsteps echoed in the suddenly silent emergency room. Behind her, absolute chaos erupted. Someone get our insurance company on the phone. How did we not know she was Ramirez's daughter? 5 years. She's been documenting everything for 5 years. That live stream has 9,000 viewers. Dr. Blackwell just assaulted the director's daughter on camera. We are absolutely screwed. Dr. Blackwell sank into a nearby chair, his head in his hands, finally understanding the magnitude of his mistake. 9:42 p.m. The elevator doors closed behind Lina Ramirez Garcia, daughter of hospital director Roberto Ramirez, Yale-educated nurse administrator, and the woman who had just been publicly assaulted on live stream by a doctor who thought she was just some inner-city nurse. As the elevator climbed toward the executive conference room, Lina finally allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. The board meeting was about to get very interesting indeed. The elevator climbed slowly to the 4th floor, giving Lina 30 seconds to compose herself. Sophia stood beside her, still live streaming to nearly 10,000 viewers, her phone trembling slightly in her hands. "Lina," Sophia whispered, "I can't believe this is really happening. Are you really the director's daughter?" "Yes," Lina's voice was steady. "But more importantly, I'm a nurse who's been documenting workplace harassment for 5 years." The elevator dinged softly as they reached the executive floor. Conference room A, 9:43 p.m. Lina pushed open the heavy oak doors to find 12 board members seated around the polished mahogany table. At the head sat her father, Director Roberto Ramirez, his jaw tight with barely contained fury. Beside him, Board Chairman Edward Grant looked like he'd aged 10 years in the past 10 minutes. "Lina," Director Ramirez said, his voice carefully controlled. "Are you injured? Physically, just a handprint that will fade." Lina touched her still red cheek. "Professionally, that remains to be seen." She gestured to Sophia. "This is Sophia Lopez, a nursing student. She live-streamed the entire incident to 10,000 viewers and counting." Board Chairman Grant leaned forward. "Miss Lopez, we'll need you to provide testimony. But first, Lina, tell us exactly what happened." Lina walked to the front of the room, Sophia still recording from the corner. "Before I begin, I need the board to understand something. Tonight's incident isn't isolated. It's the culmination of 5 years of systematic harassment I've been documenting while working as a floor nurse." She pulled out her phone and connected it to the conference room's projection system. "I've been collecting evidence of workplace discrimination, sexual harassment, and racial bias. Dr. Ethan Blackwell assault tonight was just the most extreme example." The wall screen lit up with a detailed spreadsheet. "Workplace harassment documentation. Unity Medical Center 2021 to 2026. Board member Ellis gasped audibly. "Lina, how long have you been planning this?" "I wasn't planning anything," Lina replied calmly. "I was working as a nurse, earning my master's degree and documenting violations of federal workplace safety laws. Tonight, Dr. Blackwell made the choice to escalate from verbal harassment to physical assault." Director Ramirez's voice was ice cold. "Show them the footage." Lina nodded to Sophia, who stepped forward nervously. "I can play the live stream from the beginning, but it's really hard to watch." The audio filled the conference room. "Listen up, girl. You inner-city nurses need to know your place. Fetch coffee, empty bedpans, and keep your mouth shut." Then the crack of the slap echoed through the speakers. Several board members recoiled visibly. Board member Williams covered her mouth in horror. Board Chairman Grant face darkened with rage. "Jesus Christ," whispered board member Davis. "That's assault. Clear, documented assault." Lina clicked to the next slide. Legal implications. Federal and state violations under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Tonight's incident constitutes both racial harassment and workplace violence. The livestream provides irrefutable evidence. Doctor, Blackwell used explicitly racial language. Inner-city nurses before physically assaulting me. Board member Mendoza leaned forward. "Lina, what are you asking from this board?" "I'm not asking for anything," Lina replied. "I'm informing you of our legal exposure and liability." The next slide appeared. Financial impact analysis. Dr. Blackwell assault witnessed by 50 people and broadcast to over 10,000 viewers exposes Unity Medical to the following risks. The numbers appeared one by one. Asterisk civil rights lawsuit, 2.30, 5. $7 million average settlement, asterisk criminal assault charges, potential federal investigation, asterisk medical license. Review Dr. Blackwell faces state board action, asterisk insurance exclusion. Intentional acts void our liability coverage, asterisk Medicare Medicaid review. Workplace violence triggers federal audit, asterisk Joint Commission sanctions. Possible accreditation suspension board chairman Grant was frantically taking notes. What's our immediate liability exposure? Lena clicked again. Social media impact real time. The screen showed live social media feeds. TikTok hash Unity medical racism trending with 47,000 posts, asterisk Twitter hospital tag 2,147 times in past hour, asterisk Instagram. Sophia's livestream shared 200 times, asterisk Facebook hospital's page flooded with 1-star reviews as of 9 minutes ago. Lena continued, our social media crisis has reached approximately 150,000 people. The video has been screen recorded and uploaded to multiple platforms. It's beyond our control now. Director Ramirez spoke for the first time since Lena began. What do you recommend? Lena's next slide appeared. Immediate response protocol. Phase 1. Dr. Blackwell must be suspended immediately pending criminal investigation. No severance, no benefits continuation. He assaulted an employee on camera. Phase 2. Hospital-wide policy implementation within 48 hours. Zero tolerance for racial harassment with body cameras for all high-risk interactions. Phase 3. External audit of our workplace culture by an independent civil rights organization. Full transparency. Public reporting. Board member Ellis interrupted. Lena, those are significant operational changes. The cost alone, the cost of not implementing them, Lena cut her off, is losing our federal funding. Medicare and Medicaid don't continue relationships with hospitals that tolerate racial violence. She clicked to her final slide. The choice. 2 columns appeared. Option A, comprehensive reform, asterisk, immediate suspension of Dr. Blackwell, asterisk, $3 million investment in culture change, asterisk, external oversight for 24 months. Asterisk transparent public reporting, asterisk preserved federal funding $347 million annually. Option B, minimal response, asterisk legal battles lasting 3-5 years, asterisk estimated costs $8 million, asterisk possible loss of accreditation, asterisk staff, Exodus 23. Nurses already resigned, asterisk reputation damage lasting decades. Board Chairman Grant looked around the table. Is there even a choice here? Lena stepped back from the podium. There's always a choice. You can treat tonight as an isolated incident involving a difficult employee, or you can recognize it as evidence of systemic problems that require systematic solutions. She paused, letting the weight of her words settle. But I should mention one more thing. The room fell completely silent. Lena walked to the conference room window, looking down at the parking lot where news vans were already arriving. The nursing student filming tonight. She didn't just stream to Instagram. She was also recording for a documentary project about workplace racism in healthcare. Board member Davis went pale. A documentary? Yale Medical School's Department of Social Medicine. They've been following my experience as part of a longitudinal study on discrimination in hospital settings. Tonight's footage will be included in their report to the Department of Health and Human Services. Director Ramirez closed his eyes briefly. Lena, why didn't you tell me? Because you need to see how staff treat people they think have no power. If everyone knew I was your daughter, they would have behaved differently. The harassment would have been hidden, not eliminated. Lena turned back to face the board. Dr. Blackwell thought he was slapping just some inner-city nurse. Instead, he assaulted the director's daughter on camera, while being recorded for a federal research study. The irony is perfect. Board Chairman Grant stood up slowly. Lena, what do you need from us? Full implementation of Option A tonight. Doctor, Blackwell terminated before he leaves the building, and my promotion to Chief of Quality Assurance effective immediately. That's a significant promotion, Board Member Mendoza began. I have a master's from Yale, 5 years of documentation experience, and intimate knowledge of our systemic problems. Lena interrupted. Plus, I just saved you from a federal investigation by providing the solution, instead of just the evidence. She smiled that same quiet, knowing smile that had unsettled Dr. Blackwell. The question isn't whether I'm qualified. The question is whether you're ready to fix this hospital or lose it. Board Chairman Grant stood at the head of the conference table, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. All in favor of Lena Ramirez Garcia's immediate promotion to Chief of Quality Assurance and full implementation of Option A. 12 hands rose without hesitation. Motion carried unanimously. Grant turned to Lena. You have complete board authority to implement these protocols hospital-wide. What do you need? Lena pulled out a thick folder from her bag, clearly prepared long before tonight's incident. I've been ready for this moment for 2 years. Every policy, every procedure, every legal framework, it's all here. She distributed copies around the table. Phase 1 begins now. Dr. Blackwell termination must happen before he leaves the building tonight. Our legal exposure increases every minute he remains employed. Director Ramirez activated the conference speaker phone. Security, this is Director Ramirez. Please escort Dr. Ethan Blackwell to conference room B immediately. He's to bring nothing from his office. 9:51 p.m. Lena opened her laptop and connected it to the larger wall display. A comprehensive presentation appeared. Unity Medical Center Cultural Reform Initiative Implementation Timeline. Board members, what you're seeing is a 180-day transformation plan I've developed over 5 years of frontline observation. Tonight's incident simply accelerated our timeline. Board member Ellis leaned forward. Lena, this level of planning, you've been preparing for this exact scenario. Not this exact scenario, Lena replied calmly, but I knew Dr. Blackwell's behavior would eventually escalate. I documented 47 instances of harassment over 3 years. Tonight was statistically inevitable. The first slide detailed immediate financial implications. Phase 1, emergency response. 24 hours, $47,000. Asterisk Dr. Blackwell immediate termination. Asterisk crisis communication specialist. Asterisk legal review of all employment contracts. Asterisk emergency staff. Meeting for damage control. Phase 2, policy implementation 30 days, $890,000 asterisk body camera system for all clinical areas. Asterisk anonymous reporting platform. Development. Asterisk third-party harassment training for 1 to 200 employees. Asterisk external civil rights. Audit. Phase 3, culture transformation. 180 days. $2.1 million asterisk comprehensive bias. Training program asterisk. Patient safety integration protocol calls. Asterisk community oversight. Board establishment. Asterisk long-term monitoring and compliance systems. Board member Davis whistled softly. $3 million total. That's a significant operational expense. Lena clicked to the next slide. Cost of inaction, conservative estimates. The numbers were staggering. Immediate legal exposure, $5.7 million. Average settlement for documented racial assault. Federal investigation costs $1. $2 million in legal fees, compliance reviews, insurance premium increases. $340,000 annually for 5 years reputation damage. 15 to 30% patient volume loss. Equal sign. 4 million revenue impact staff turnover. $3. $2 million in recruitment and training costs. Regulatory sanctions. Potential loss of $347 million in federal funding. The choice, Lena said quietly, is spending $3 million to fix our problems or losing potentially hundreds of millions by ignoring them. Board Chairman Grant was already reaching for his phone. Legal department, emergency consultation needed. We're terminating a physician for cause tonight. Yes, tonight. 9:54 p.m. A knock at the conference room door interrupted the meeting. Security Chief Mendoza entered with Dr. Blackwell, who looked disheveled and confused. "You wanted to see me?" Dr. Blackwell asked, his voice shaky. Then he saw Lena at the front of the room. "What is she doing here? This woman assaulted me." Director Ramirez stood slowly, his 6.3 frame imposing in the formal conference setting. "Dr. Blackwell, meet my daughter, Lena Ramirez Garcia, Yale-educated nurse administrator and your new supervisor." Dr. Blackwell's face cycled through disbelief, recognition, and growing horror. This is impossible. Your daughter is a doctor in Seattle." "Was in Seattle," Lena corrected. "Completing my master's degree while working here full-time. Something you would have known if you'd bothered to treat me as a professional colleague, instead of some inner-city nurse." HR Director Angela Kim entered the room carrying a thick personnel file. "Dr. Blackwell, please sit down. We need to discuss your employment status." Dr. Blackwell remained standing, his voice rising desperately. "Roberto, we've worked together for 15 years. This is clearly a misunderstanding. Your daughter attacked me first." "Actually," Lena said, activating her phone. "Let's review the evidence." The conference room speakers filled with Dr. Blackwell's voice from the live stream. "Listen up, girl. You inner-city nurses need to know your place. Fetch coffee, empty bedpans, and keep your mouth shut." Then the unmistakable sound of the slap. "That," said Board Chairman Grant, coldly, "is racial harassment followed by assault. Both federal crimes." HR Director Kim opened Dr. Blackwell's file. "Ethan, you are terminated immediately for cause: physical assault of a colleague, racial harassment, and violation of our workplace violence policy." "You can't do this!" Dr. Blackwell shouted. "I'll sue. I'll contact the medical board. You'll what?" Lena interrupted quietly. "File a complaint about being fired for assaulting the director's daughter on livestream. Please do. The publicity would be fascinating." Lena clicked to a new slide. "Dr. Blackwell, employment consequences, immediate termination effects, loss of hospital privileges at all affiliated facilities, mandatory reporting to state medical board, criminal assault charges filed with district attorney, malpractice insurance notification potential policy cancellation, * references, marked not eligible for rehire." Additionally, Lena continued, "Under our updated harassment policy, effective immediately, any physician who fails to report witness discrimination will face disciplinary review." Dr. Blackwell looked around the room desperately. "Harrison Foster, you know me. This is career suicide over one mistake." Dr. Harrison, who had been silent until now, spoke carefully. "Ethan, 47 documented incidents over 3 years isn't one mistake. It's a pattern." Lena's next slide appeared. Systematic Reform Implementation Schedule. Week 1, Emergency Protocols. All department heads complete crisis leadership training. * anonymous reporting system goes live. Body cameras installed in high-risk areas. Staff notification of new zero-tolerance policies. Week 2, 4, Comprehensive training. Mandatory bias recognition workshops for all staff. * patient safety integration with respect protocols. * bystander intervention certification. * documentation and reporting procedures. Month 2, 6, Culture transformation. * community oversight. Board establishment. * patient satisfaction integration. With staff behavior. * performance review. Modifications to include respect metrics. * external audit and public reporting systems board member Mendoza raised her hand. "Lena, this is extremely comprehensive. How do we ensure compliance?" Lena smiled. Simple. Compliance is tied to everything that matters to hospital staff. Performance reviews, promotion eligibility, annual bonuses, and continued employment. She clicked to the enforcement slide. Compliance Enforcement Framework * 360-degree reviews, including patient and colleague feedback. * anonymous reporting with guaranteed response within 48 hours. * progressive disciplinary action with clear consequences. Public reporting of culture metrics quarterly. Staff will comply because their careers depend on it. Patients will notice because their satisfaction scores will improve. The community will support us because we're demonstrating actual change, not just policy statements. Director Ramirez looked at his daughter with obvious pride. Lena, this is remarkable work. How long have you been developing this? 5 years, Dad. Every night shift, every weekend, every time someone assumed I was just a nurse, I was documenting, researching, and building solutions. Lena turned back to Dr. Blackwell, who was still standing frozen in shock. Dr. Blackwell, you have 2 choices. Leave quietly tonight with a standard termination package, or fight this publicly and face criminal prosecution, civil lawsuits, and complete destruction of your medical career. I need time to think, he whispered. You have until security escorts you to your car, Lena replied. About 3 minutes, Board Chairman Grant stood up. Dr. Blackwell, your access cards are deactivated. Security will accompany you to collect personal items only. Any hospital property remains here. As security led Dr. Blackwell toward the door, he turned back one last time. This isn't over. Lena's smile never wavered. You're absolutely right. Your assault trial begins in approximately 6 weeks. The civil rights investigation starts Monday morning, and the documentary featuring tonight's footage premieres at the Yale Medical School Symposium next month. Oh, she added as the door closed, and the nursing staff is planning a celebration party for Friday night. You're not invited. 10:01 p.m. With Drive Blackwell gone, the conference room atmosphere shifted from crisis management to strategic planning. Board Chairman Grant looked around the table. Lena, you have complete authority to implement this plan. What do you need from us? 3 things, Lena replied. First, a press conference tomorrow morning announcing our zero-tolerance policy and Dr. Blackwell's termination. Second, budget approval for the $3 million investment. Third, your commitment to public transparency throughout this process. Done. Done and done, Grant said immediately. Lena gathered her materials. Then I suggest we get to work. The overnight staff needs to hear about these changes before the morning news breaks the story. As the board members filed out, Director Ramirez approached his daughter. Lena, I'm proud of you. But I'm also sorry you had to experience this. Lena hugged her father briefly. Dad, someone had to document the truth. I just happened to be in the perfect position to do it. She looked out the conference room window at the news vans gathering in the parking lot. Besides, tomorrow morning, every nurse in America is going to see that their dignity matters, that their voices count, that someone will fight for them. Lena smiled. That's worth 5 years of documentation. Next morning, 6 a.m. Lena stood in the hospital's main conference room facing 847 Unity medical employees assembled for an emergency all-staff meeting. The handprint on her cheek had faded to a light bruise, but she wore it like a badge of honor. Director Ramirez stepped to the podium. At 9:23 p.m. last night, Dr. Ethan Blackwell was terminated for cause following his physical assault of Chief Quality Assurance Officer Lena Ramirez Garcia. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Many staff members were seeing the live stream footage for the first time on the conference room screens. Effective immediately, Ramirez continued, Unity Medical implements zero-tolerance policies for workplace violence, racial harassment, and discriminatory behavior. Lena took the microphone. Dr. Blackwell thought he was slapping just some inner-city nurse. Instead, he demonstrated exactly why systematic reform is necessary. She activated the presentation display. Every person in this room, regardless of title, background, or family connections, deserves dignity and respect. These new policies ensure that standard. The immediate changes slide one appeared. Body camera integration starting today. All patient care areas now have optional body cameras available. High-risk interactions, disciplinary meetings, conflict resolution, patient complaints require mandatory recording. Charged Nurse Gonzalez raised her hand. Lena, what defines high risk? Any interaction where power dynamics could enable harassment. Physicians disciplining nurses. Administrators addressing staff complaints. Senior staff training junior colleagues. Lena's voice was steady. If someone feels safer with a recording, they get one. Slide 2. Anonymous reporting system. Unity voice. Lena demonstrated the new smartphone app. Report incidents immediately. Include photo evidence, automatic timestamp, and location tracking. Every report receives a response within 48 hours, guaranteed. More importantly, she continued, bystander reporting is now protected and encouraged. If you witness harassment and don't report it, that's complicity. Nursing student Sophia, who had live-streamed the original incident, stood up. What happens to people who file false reports? Same consequences filing false police reports, Lena replied. But our data suggests false accusations are less than 3% of workplace harassment claims. The real problem is underreporting, not over-reporting, the legal framework. Lena, click to slide 3, Federal Compliance Integration. These aren't just hospital policies. We're aligning with Title VII civil rights requirements, OSHA workplace safety standards, and Joint Commission quality metrics. Harrison, who had remained silent during last night's confrontation, asked nervously, Lena, what happens to staff who witnessed harassment but didn't intervene? Lena's expression remained neutral. Mandatory bystander intervention training within 30 days. Future incidents require active response, either direct intervention or immediate reporting. She clicked to the next slide. Progressive Discipline Matrix Level 1. Violations, microaggressions, bias language, mandatory training, formal apology, 6-month monitoring Level 2, violations, harassment, intimidation, suspension, external counseling, performance, improvement, plan, Level 3, violations, physical contact threats, immediate termination, criminal referral industry, blacklisting Dr. Blackwell assault was Level 3, Lena explained, but the inner-city nurse comment alone would have triggered Level 2 consequences. The technology solutions. Lena demonstrated the comprehensive monitoring system on her laptop. AI-powered surveillance detects raised voices, aggressive gestures, and crowd formations. Security receives automatic alerts. Additionally, panic buttons on all staff badges connect directly to security and administration. No more suffering in silence. Dr. Foster raised her hand tentatively. Lena, this seems like extensive surveillance. What about privacy? Patient care areas already have CCTV for safety. We're simply adding behavioral analysis. Lena's tone was matter-of-fact. If you're treating colleagues with respect, you have nothing to worry about. The Community Oversight Slide 5 appeared. External Accountability Board. Unity Medical will have ongoing oversight from the Regional Civil Rights Coalition. American Nurses Association and patient advocacy groups. Quarterly public reporting of culture metrics, incident statistics, and improvement measures. Lena looked directly at the assembled staff. This hospital will become a model for respectful workplace culture. Other facilities will study our transformation. The training revolution. Every employee completes 16 hours of bias recognition training within 45 days. Physicians, nurses, technicians, administrators, everyone. Lena clicked to a detailed schedule. Yale Medical School's Department of Social Medicine designed our curriculum. The same department documents workplace racism for their federal research study. Several staff members shifted uncomfortably, remembering they'd been recorded for that study. Patient care quality improves when staff feel respected and safe. Lena continued. These changes benefit everyone, employees, patients, and the hospital's reputation. The financial reality. Lena displayed the implementation costs transparently. Month 1, $890,000 for technology and training. Month 2, $1.2 million for ongoing monitoring and external oversight. Year 1, total $2.1 million investment. Compare that to our potential losses. $5. $7 million average discrimination lawsuit settlement, $52 million in reputation damage, $347 million in federal funding at risk. She looked around the room. This reform program costs less than one major lawsuit. Dr. Blackwell assault could have bankrupted us. The immediate results. Lena pulled up real-time data from the first 6 hours since implementation. Asterisk Anonymous reports filed 23 historical incidents being documented. Asterisk body camera requests 47 staff feeling safer already. Training enrollments. 312 voluntary early participation asterisk patient satisfaction calls 89% positive response to policy announcement. Staff are already using these tools. Lena noted change is happening immediately. The personal accountability. Lena stepped away from the podium, speaking directly to the assembled staff. Last night, 50 people watched Dr. Blackwell assault me. 3 people spoke up. 47 stayed silent. The room fell completely quiet. Under our new policies, those 47 bystanders would face mandatory training and performance review notation. Silence in the face of harassment is complicity. She paused, letting the weight settle. But here's what's different now. You have tools, training, and protection. Anonymous reporting, panic buttons, legal backing, administrative support. Lena's voice strengthened. The next time someone faces harassment, they won't stand alone. The transformation timeline. Lena returned to the presentation. 60 days from today, we'll publish our first public culture report. Patient satisfaction scores, staff retention rates, incident statistics, complete transparency. 6 months from today, other hospitals will send delegations to study our model. 1 year from today, we'll be testifying before Congress about systematic culture change in healthcare. She clicked to the final slide. From crisis to leadership, Dr. Blackwell thought he was putting some inner-city nurse in her place. Instead, he triggered the most comprehensive workplace reform in hospital history. Lena smiled that same quiet, confident smile. Sometimes the biggest mistakes create the greatest opportunities for change. 7:30 a.m. As staff filed out to begin their shifts under the new protocols, Lena remained behind, reviewing implementation data on her laptop. Director Ramirez approached his daughter. Lena, in 8 hours you've transformed this entire institution. Lena looked up from her screen. Dad, I didn't transform anything. I just gave people the tools to transform themselves. She gestured toward the emergency department where nurses were already wearing body cameras and using the new reporting system. Dr. Blackwell was never the real problem. The real problem was a system that enabled his behavior. Now we have a system that prevents it. Lena closed her laptop, and tomorrow every health-care worker in America will know that change is possible. 6 months later, Lena stood before the Senate Healthcare Committee. Her testimony being broadcast live to C-SPAN's 2.3 million viewers. The same woman who had been slapped for knowing her place was now advising Congress on national health care reform. Senators, The Unity medical model has been adopted by 127 hospitals across 23 states. Workplace violence incidents have dropped 89% system-wide. Patient satisfaction has increased 34%. Nurse retention has reached 97%, the highest in industry history. Behind her, the presentation displayed stark numbers. $2.1 million invested, $47 million saved in lawsuits avoided, $1,247 healthcare workers protected from harassment. The ripple effect. The Hashmas law had generated national conversation about healthcare worker protection. Lena's documentary segment had been viewed 4.7 million times. Nursing schools now taught dignified advocacy based on her approach. Dr. Blackwell, meanwhile, faced a criminal trial in 2 weeks. His medical license was suspended pending investigation. 3 other hospitals had terminated physicians for similar behavior after Lena's story went viral. The personal victory. Lena received 32,000+ letters from healthcare workers sharing their experiences. A common theme emerged. You showed us that quiet strength beats loud aggression, that preparation beats reaction, that dignity beats degradation. The 5-year-old patient who had cried during the original incident sent Lena a drawing labeled "The Brave Nurse Who Fixed Everything." The Values Revolution. Lena's transformation proved that systemic change requires strategic thinking, not just moral outrage, that hidden privilege should lift up those without it. That documentation and preparation defeat impulsive hatred. Most importantly, she demonstrated that everyone deserves dignity regardless of title, race, or family connections. Your voice matters. Your experience counts. Have you witnessed workplace harassment? Seen colleagues silenced or threatened? Share your story in the comments. You're not alone in this fight. Share this video to demand safer, more respectful workplaces for all healthcare heroes. Every nurse, technician, and support staff deserves the dignity Lena fought for. Subscribe to Empowered Voices Uncensored for more stories of quiet courage, systematic change, and professional excellence. Hit that notification bell for content that empowers healthcare workers and challenges workplace abuse. Together, we can create hospitals where healing happens safely for patients and the heroes who care for them. Because sometimes the biggest slap in the face becomes the strongest voice for change. At Empowered Voices Uncensored, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncensored Voice.